What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Dense Pixels podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brad, joined by my co-hosts, Carrie.
What's up?
And Terrence.
What's going on?
A lot of news this week as well. It's a very interesting week in the games industry, for ill or for good. With between some new games coming out that are getting a lot of attention and lots of stories. We're going to talk about why developers keep feeling the need to fucking shoot for the moon, it seems like, with every game that comes out. We're going to talk about a really well-received Sony State of Play, and we're going to talk about what RAMpocalypse is causing right now, and about a lot of games that we've been playing. But first, let us take care of the housekeeping. Don't forget to join our Discord at densepixels.com/fans. It's free, and you can chat with us and other listeners of the show. We have a fun little tight community in Discord, and maybe don't have to scan your ID. More on that later on in the program here. To follow the show, YouTube is how I'm consuming most of my podcast these days, weirdly enough. And you can find us there, youtube.com/densepixels. We post the show there every week, plus any VODs from any streams that I'm currently doing. And if Carrie or Terrence get back in the streaming, those will end up there too. We'll see. If you prefer your podcast in audio format, you can search for TMP Studios in the podcast app of your choosing. You'll find us, but you'll also find the Nerdpocalypse. You'll find Black on Black Cinema, and you'll find the Look Forward Political Podcast. And if you would like to support TMP Studios with zeal, go to densepixels.com/premium, and we're just asking for $5 a month. We have not asked for more money, even though inflation elsewhere has hit everything. It has not hit the Dense Pixels premium membership. So again, $5 a month. We really appreciate everyone who contributes to us there. So again, that is densepixels.com/premium. And Carrie, you have a bit of a announcement as well.
Yeah, so now that this is public, I can actually talk about it on the show, which is very exciting. Next month on March 12th in San Francisco at the DNA Lounge, I and my band Premium Vintage will be doing a full set of Hades music with Darren Korb. He will be joining us on vocals as well as on guitar on a few songs. And additionally joining us will be Ashley Barrett and Judy Alice Lee, who provided some of the backing vocals for the Skilla song. So I believe one of them will be taking over lead vocals on the one Skilla tune that we're going to do. And I really hope they do, because otherwise I have to do it, and I don't want to. But yeah, really exciting. The scope creep of this particular band, Premium Vintage, got very out of hand very quickly. This is not anything I expected to do as far as doing shows actually with the folks who wrote the music, but yeah, so hopefully more to come with the actual Hades musicians in the future if all goes well. But yeah, if you are in the Bay Area, or you happen to be coming to the Bay Area for GDC, then please come to the DNA Lounge. Again, that's March 12th. A lot of other great acts on that bill as well. My homies in Zaku and Lacey Johnson and Ivy and Sarashu. So yeah, please come out, and please get tickets in advance, as I think we are expecting a sellout on this. So yeah, so that's what I've been up to, is preparing for a very big show. But Darren's been great to work with. So enormous thanks to him. What's been fun is we've basically had to kind of teach some of Darren's material back to him. He's a guitar dude. He's a big riffs guy. And I think that comes through in the Hades soundtrack quite prominently, as far as sick riffs. And yeah, he, like I think a lot of composers, will put something to tape and then just put it out of his brain. And so we've had to work with him as far as our own little changes to the structure and whatnot. But yeah, we'll see you next month in San Francisco with Darren.
It's very, very cool that in such a short time your band has gone from the germ of an idea to now we're playing with the composer who wrote all the songs that
I'm going to have him over for band practice this weekend.
Yeah.
In the house where I've put a truly stupid amount of hours into the Hades games at this point. So
very cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what we've been playing. I've been playing the probably the most talked about game of the last week or so, that came out, and it's interesting, right? So I've been on
Never
this
heard of it.
show. You have not heard of it?
No, I don't know
fair,
what the hell this is.
fair. Well, it's the apparently it's the highest rated game so far this year on Metacritic.
Hmm.
Um, so and it's funny, right? Because so I've talked on the show before about my general disdain for turn-based like tactics games. How
Also,
I
it's definitely not for me.
yeah, so I how they just don't really jive with me. There's always been one exception to that rule, and that is a game that came out a few years ago called Into the Breach, which is a roguelike turn-based tactical game. And the reason why I like Into the Breach a lot is because all of the battles are really short. Basically, in Into the Breach, like you're trying to just survive for 5 turns, and you get to see like the enemy intents and stuff like that. And so it's a lot more. It's easier to grasp onto for me, as opposed to saying like Fire Emblem, where you might have like a battle that goes on for 45 minutes to an hour, and you might lose, and then you might have to redo that battle again. Like that's really unappealing to me, personally. And I found another game that has kind of really scratched that tactical itch that I'm really finding difficult to put down, and that is Mewgenics. Really hard emphasis on the M in Mewgenics, which is the new game from Edmund McMillan, who is the creator of Super Meat Boy and Binding of Isaac. And so this is a game where the kind of the premise is you are like this crazy cat person who finds all these cats. Some of them are strays that wind up at your house, um, and basically you take them into your home. And at night, they will. Sometimes the cats will bone down, and they will have kittens, and then those kittens will grow up, and eventually you're gonna send a party of cats out on to an adventure, where they will participate in turn-based tactical battles against other freaky deaky cats that are in this neighborhood. Now, what's interesting about the game is that, as the title might imply, um, all of the cats have stats, and all of the cats can earn, like they'll learn different skills. So like when you go on an adventure, you'll assign each of your cats to a class. There's I've unlocked 7 of the classes so far. I think there's a total of 12 in the game, and they are the general like D&D classes. Like there's a fighter class, there's a cleric, there's a thief, there's a necromancer, stuff like that. And the class that you assign them will dictate some bonuses and detriments they receive to their abilities. But also, it will unlock like skills that they can unlock throughout the run. And there's also a shitload of items that you can equip your cats with as well, that really kind of start ramping up the possibility space of what you can do. And when I say like there's a lot of skills, I think they said there's 1,200 skills in the game total. So each class has 100 skills, and the skills that you'll get assigned during the run will be random. Like it'll be completely random. So this is one of those games where you kind of have to make the best of what's presented to you, and try to work within the run, to make your cats like as powerful as possible. And so you'll go on these adventures, you'll fight these freaky cats. As your cats fight through, like if they lose all their HP in a battle, it doesn't necessarily take them out, but it will down them. And they'll also get like a malady of some sort, like a broken leg, or they'll become disfigured or stuff like that. And that will have a negative impact on their um on their attributes that they have. But you also might find like traits that the cats have as well, and those traits will have positive or negative effects based on what they do. So you're trying to clear these like roguelike runs. As you get to the end of each stage, you have the option to return your cats home or to continue pressing onward. Each area of the game has like 3 zones you have to clear that of course get progressively harder, but your cats are leveling up as they go through. Ideally, what you want to do is you want to get your cats back home safe, because when they do get down with the other cats that are in the house, they will pass on some of their traits and their skills and their attributes to their offspring essentially. And so that's part of the game as well. Is in between runs, you're trying to put cats that you want to mate in like sequestered areas so that they'll actually get down, but they also might not want to get down. They might end up fighting instead, and that could be pretty bad because when they fight, one of the cats might end up injured or die or both die, as I've had happen to me before as well, which is always kind of rough. And it's just kind of it's a game that the possibility space just kind of opens up as you go through, and that's been really interesting because it's a game that lets you play around with a lot of different systems that are in the game. And it's one of those games where just like you think to yourself like, hey, like does this, I wonder if I do this, combine this ability with this, trait, if this will work as I intended to. And it usually does in that case, or sometimes like you'll have accidental things that happen that you don't realize are going to happen. And so it's like kind of delightful when crazy things happen. You do have to feed all the cats that you hang on to, and eventually your house is going to get full. So fortunately, there are other people in town that you can ship the cats off to when you are through with them. And different people want different stuff. So like one person in town wants cats that have been to specific areas in the game. One person specifically wants injured cats. One person specifically wants cats that are over 5 years of age. And it's got a lot of because it's from the guy that made Binding of Isaac, it's got a lot of scatological humor in it, which could be your bag or could not be.
Nope.
Yeah,
everything about this game is the antithesis of anything I like. Like Jesus Christ,
which I totally understand. Like I don't mind it in Macmillan's games because it's so over the top and it's so absurd, but it doesn't feel forced. Like Borderlands, like that type of stuff feels very forced in how it's presented. In this game, it just feels like like stuff happens and then you happen upon like a giant pile of poop in the alley. So what are you going to do with the giant? You have to figure out like what your cat's going to do with that giant pile of poop. Like, do they eat it? Do they attack it? Like, what do they do? And different things can happen based on that. And it's just been a really fun game that has kind of opened itself up to me. Like I'm about 20 hours in. I've just cleared the first act of 3 total acts in the game, and every like new mechanics are consistently being kind of introduced. The way it works is like the other people in town, when you've given them a certain number of cats that they want, they will kind of unlock a new mechanic for you. So like the one guy that wants kittens specifically, when you give him enough kittens, he will start to kind of unveil more of the breeding minigame so that you kind of understand what's happening when you do that more and more. One of the other guys that wants certain cats that have been in certain areas will expand your storage space that you can carry items, save items between runs and things like that. So I kind of like the fact that it's slowly opening the game up, because this is the type of game that if you're presented with all that stuff up front, because there's so many systems in the game, it can feel very overwhelming, especially if you're someone who likes to try to min-max as much as possible. And the fact that they kind of keep a lot of that from you and just kind of force you to play the game before learning how the gears are turning with the systems just kind of frees you up to just experience the game the way it's supposed to be. Certainly gonna be a divisive game. Again, the art style and just kind of the overall vibe of it obviously is not going to be for everybody at all. But it's also kind of interesting to see how the team that made this is kind of representing certain traits that are in the game, because a lot of the stuff that the cats have that they can pass down, like you could have a cat that's born with like autism, right? And the way that that's represented in the game is actually really clever, because like if you have a cat that's autistic, they have enhanced intelligence but lower charisma, and then skills that they're born with cost less mana to use, so they're able to use their skills easier, but skills they learn later cost more mana to use because they find it harder to learn different things. And so like basically every trait that's in the game has like a positive side, but also kind of like a drawback in ways that kind of make sense. And I find Edmund McMillan to be a very fascinating person to listen to, because he's someone who is very open about like hardships that he's had, especially early in his life, and kind of stuff that he goes through now. Like he talks about how he has two daughters, one of which is autistic, one of which is ADHD, and kind of the trials and tribulations of navigating like the school system and trying to, you know, figure out like and kind of feeling guilty because, you know, he's like, I'm ADHD, and that's one of the things that kind of inspired the game, is just like the kind of the fascination of like, hey, like, you know, we have these traits and we pass them along to people, and you know, it's interesting that, you know, it makes me feel kind of guilty that I've, you know, passed along this difficulty to my daughter that she's going to have to deal with for like for, you know, her entire life. But there's also ways that this, you know, helps her, and she can find ways to advantage herself and things like that, even though that there are some hardships as well. So it's a very interesting game. Again, not going to be for everybody, but if you are the type to really like to dive deep into systems and really like to kind of experiment with different things that that games allow you to do, from that perspective, there's a lot here. I mean, he said that to clear the game could easily take over like 150 hours, and 20 hours in, like I felt like I haven't barely scratched the surface of what the game has to offer. Like on my save file, it's at like 11% after 20 hours. Like that's kind of the vastness that the game has. And again, the battles are fun because they're quick. Like each battle takes literally like 5-10 minutes. They have mini bosses, and bosses as well, that all have interesting mechanics that you have to work around. And yeah, it's been just been a really fun game. But also a game that is definitely not going to be everyone's cup of tea. You know, the style of game aside, because it definitely has that very Binding of Isaac style humor to it, and which is funny because a lot of people have been hyper fixating on that aspect of it. And I someone called Iron Spike on Blue Sky said, yeah, like no offense, but y'all sure are being odd about the creator of Abused Naked Child roguelike being provocative. like Binding of Isaac came out over 10 years ago.
Years ago, yeah.
Yeah, and we've already been down that. And she also called him she also said like, you'll be at peace with Ed McMillan if you accept that he's the John Waters of video games. And I'm like, that's an interesting way to frame him.
As a big fan of John Waters and as not a big fan of this dude's video games, I don't know that that's necessarily an apt comparison, but I get it.
Yeah.
It is definitely like, he is a guy who has always stuck to a particular look and feel and sensibility about his games, and that there's any kind of discourse about Mewgenics is insane to me. I think it's people missing the forest for the trees a little bit here. So
right, and people are getting like, some people have been like very offended, like, oh, like I can't believe like you made this game about like, you know, breeding cats to be particularly like how you want it to be. And I'm just like, what do you think happens to cats and dogs and stuff like that? Like,
right, exactly, like
that's literally
purebred cats and dogs are literally eugenics.
Yeah. And he also made the point that like, hey, like it's happening to humans as well. Like people that are upset about this like don't understand like some, I mean, for, you know, for like example that he brings up is like, there's literally like, if you're pregnant, you can literally screen for certain genetic markers, you know, that, you know, to see if they might have, you know, your potential child would have conditions that, you know, will be coming up. And some people get that information, they're just like, yeah, we're not doing this. So, and you know, it's a practice that is happening every day, and it's not something to condone or not condone, but it's an interesting exploration of the fact for sure. I've really been listening to a lot of interviews with him, because again, he's very different than most folks in the industry. Because as someone said that I saw somewhere, like he doesn't sound like someone who's ever had like media training. Like he just like kind of shoots from the hip and is very honest, and we don't get that a lot.
I'd rather you be honest than have media training, depending on what position you hold.
Right.
Let's put it that way.
So, but again, a really interesting game. I'm going to be continuing to play a ton of this. It's like I said, it's been really difficult to put down. And it's been cool to kind of find a tactics game that I can really get down with, because it's always really confused me that it's a genre game that I don't care for, considering like how into board games I am. And there's a lot of like tactical board games that I enjoy quite a lot. But yeah, turn-based tactical games have really never done it for me, but this one is really scratching an itch. And I think it's because more because of the systems are so open-ended that it just kind of lets you play around with stuff. And if something doesn't go well, okay, there's another run. Like you got the roguelike aspect as well that helps make that medicine go down a little bit easier as well. So yeah, good shit. If this sounds interesting, I would definitely give it a look-see. I think it's only on PC for now. I'd imagine it's going to get a console release at some point. But it's been really successful. It officially became not that this metric means anything for this genre of game, but it became the most concurrently played roguelike in the history of Steam. It even ousted Hades 2 as far as concurrent players go.
Wow.
Over the past
Wonder
weekend.
why. Like generally, I wonder why.
so his games have like a cult following of sorts. Like the people that are into Binding of Isaac are really into Binding of Isaac. Like there are people out there who have, and not an insignificant amount of people who have played like hundreds or even thousands of hours of Binding of Isaac. And it's just because Isaac is kind of the same thing, where it's just like, we're going to throw a bunch of insane shit into a fucking blender and it's going to be completely randomized.
Mhm.
And the different combinations that you can come up with are just kind of fucking nutty in that game, and there are people that really enjoy exploring that. Isaac is a game I like, but I haven't dedicated nearly as much time as I would probably like to it, and I might still at some point.
Barely
So,
even seen any of it. I know what it looks like, but I've never
Yeah.
actually seen like 5 minutes worth of gameplay of that game. It's been out for how many years? Like 10, 12 years?
It's 15 actually. I think it originally came out
God
as a
damn.
Flash game in 2011, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
And then kind of became this insane thing. Now, obviously, the thing that drew me to Isaac is the anti-religious
Binding
undercurrent
of Isaac is
that
not
the
a game that
has.
I think I would play, but I do find the exploration of like what an abusively religious upbringing can look like interesting, you
Yeah.
know. So
But
Anyway.
yeah, that was a whole lot about Mewgenics. Carrie,
yeah.
what have you been playing?
I played through the demo for Monster Hunter Stories 3, which carries the subtitle Twisted Reflections. Look, I've talked about the other Monster Hunter Stories games on this show before. I'm really excited for this. I played the demo on Switch 2, which is the system I intend to purchase the game on. So, yeah, so if you're unfamiliar with the Monster Hunter Stories games, they are the turn-based JRPG version of Monster Hunter. You still have different weapons, but instead of just fighting monsters as a human person, you have what they call monsties, which are tame allied versions of monsters. So there's definitely some political intrigue going on with this game, but you basically get like the first 5 hours of game in the demo, and then
It's a big demo.
it's a
I assume your progress carries over.
it does.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you have certain features are limited and you are level capped at 10. So they do limit you in a few ways. But yeah, I mean, I really like the other Monster Hunter Stories games, and I really like this. So instead of just being a rider, you are what they call a ranger, which is new for this particular game. And with that comes the addition of basically ecosystem rehabilitation. So what the rangers do is they search for eggs of monsters that may be considered endangered in this part of the world, and then you hatch them and then you release them back into the wild to help repopulate the area with these monsters. So that also unlocks as you release more of the same type of monster. So if I suddenly hatch a bunch of Rathian, for instance, after you hit a certain point of getting like the Rathian's rank up in that particular environment, you will then start to get mutations of that. So that's how you go from just having Rathian to also having pink Rathian in the environment as well. Stuff like that. So that's how you get the different variants or maybe different like elemental types of the same monster kind of existing. Is you just have to hatch a lot of the same thing and put them back into the environment. So I think that's really interesting. That's new to this particular game, but yeah, game looks great, plays great. Definitely some of the battles later in the demo, I think probably should be for higher levels than just 10 because they felt very difficult. Even when I had everybody at like the maxed out level for the demo. But yeah, it's very cool. I like the supporting cast of characters so far. I like where the plot is headed. I like how easy it is to traverse the area. So it looks like they're going with these kind of big open zones rather than like a completely open world, which is what they've done for the past stories games as well. But yeah, I'm stoked on it. Comes out in a couple weeks.
I was saying, comes out in March, doesn't it? Sometime.
Set to release on March 13th.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just about a month off from that. Releasing on every system. But yeah, if whereas Monster Hunter Stories and Stories 2 had a lot of characters from the first game show up in the second, aged up, this is a completely new cast of characters, completely new world. So you do not have to have played the first two in order to just jump in here. So if you're into Monster Hunter, or maybe you're not into Monster Hunter, maybe you just kind of like the idea of Monster Hunter, but you don't want to play that style of game, and maybe you're more into a turn-based game, then definitely check out the demo for Stories 3 because I think it's going to be this feels like one of those like kind of dark horse kind of JRPGs that's not going to get the degree of attention it deserves, but is secretly super good in the same way that I thought like Digimon Story Time Stranger was one of the best RPGs released last year, and it feels like 15 people fucking played it. But yeah, I mean, stoked on this and looking forward to the full game coming out.
Very cool. I've also that does remind me. I've also started a new replay of Chrono Trigger for the first time in a long time. I forgot how brisk that game is.
That's what I keep hearing. It's like a 20-hour game, right?
Yeah. Well, put it to you this way. So like the narrative story kind of progresses in a somewhat linear fashion as you go through the game, and then like you get to a certain point where it's like, hey, like you can go challenge the final boss like anytime you want to, but there's this other stuff that you should do first that takes up a good chunk of time. Yeah. I'm at that point now. Like I just got to the point where it's like, all right, and I'm 11 hours into the game. Like, yeah. So like that's how fast Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, it's funny. I was literally just talking with my boyfriend this morning about the Chrono games because we were listening to the Chrono Cross soundtrack. And how weird of a game Chrono Cross is, especially with regards to its relation to not just Chrono Trigger, but Radical Dreamers as well. And I still haven't played any of these games.
You should absolutely like I
know I have been told for years that I need to play Chrono Trigger, and I haven't done it. And a big part of why I haven't done it, I feel, is because what I want is like the original experience. And an actual Chrono Trigger cartridge these days is like $350. I'm not going to get that, but I will pay like $40 for a repro cart. And I haven't found a repro cart quite yet. And I know the Steam version of the game kind of sucks dick.
It's the Steam version is okay. Here's what you should do. Here's what I'm playing.
You play the DS version?
The DS version is actually very good. Like
I know the DS version is considered by many to be the best version of the game. It also has an extra boss. So there's a super boss in the DS version that is not present in the original game. The DS version is unfortunately also still like an $85 game to get the cartridge
You
by
can
itself.
you can
You can flash card
have
it.
the cartridge of it. Yeah, like
Yeah.
like you can, you know, you
I
don't
just
have
would
to,
have to then buy a flash card and do that whole thing.
or just play it on your computer.
Yeah, I could. I own it on Steam. I just
Yeah.
haven't done it.
You
The
can
thing
play
is,
the
like,
DS version on your PC.
I want to play
Yeah,
it on the Super Nintendo
yeah.
that is 10 feet behind me right now.
Oh my god. Stop putting up
just I-
barriers to experiencing a game that I guarantee you that you will enjoy. There's a lot of
Yeah,
there's a lot
no,
of
I
big
know.
goobers in Chrono
Here's the other
Trigger
thing. Here's the
that you
thing
will
that I'm definitely not going to do. I'm not going to start Chrono Trigger until I finish Final Fantasy 3.
Okay.
Because then I'm otherwise never going to finish Final Fantasy 3, and I'm like halfway through that game right now. So
Fair enough.
yeah.
Terrence, you went on a bit of a shopping spree on your Xbox.
Over the last and this isn't even all of the games I bought. Picked up Black Myth Wukong last week. I'm on at the end of chapter 3. That game is fine.
Yeah.
Game of the year? No.
Well, I mean,
I don't think so. No.
I mean, let's call it what it is. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of ballot stuffing from certain regions on the globe to get Black Myth Wukong be the player's choice game.
Yeah, that's no. It's the combat. Like, it looks good. Like, they use Unreal Engine 5 is kind of whack on like consoles, honestly.
So answer me this. Every time I see this, I can never remember, is this a Souls-like game or is this just a character action game?
It's a mixture. It's more like, what's the game? The Shadows Die Twice. What's
Sekiro? Sekiro is like
it's
the most hardcore.
It's closer to that than Souls. But Sekiro doesn't have a stamina meter. It has the posture gauge, whatever it's called. This game has stamina meter. I don't know. I'm at the end of chapter 3 and I'm like 12, 13 hours into the game. So I'm playing through it. It's more like a boss rush game than anything else. Mm-hmm. There's 102 bosses in this game. That's a lot. That's a lot. The combat is my biggest sticking point because, you know, when you're playing a Souls, like, you have multiple weapons and shit like that, and each weapon has different movesets. He only has the staff, and he literally has one combo. That's fucking boring.
Yeah,
it's incredibly boring.
So where does the variety come from in the combat?
The variety comes from, you have 3 different stances with your heavy attack. You have bash stance. You have what's the other 2 stances? It's bash, pillar, and thrust. Bash is like mobility. Pillar is you stand on your staff, like, to kind of get yourself out of danger, and thrust is for ranged combat. And you mix and match with those. Your heavy attack, you can do like super moves with those. Then you have mysticism, which is your magic, and then you have transformation. You can transform into other things that you have to find in the world in order to transform into them. And you have other things that you kind of mix and match with. Even with all of that, it's still, I don't know. I don't like it, honestly, to be perfect. I don't like the combat, but again, I want to finish the game. I fucking bought it. It's long. It's just,
I mean, if you're only through 3 chapters and you played 12 hours, it sounds long as shit. How many chapters are there?
It's 6. It's only 6.
Oh, okay.
But the thing is, like, the chapters vary in length, and like the levels. The first level is kind of compact. The second level opened up a little bit more. I've been on the 3rd chapter for like 8 hours. It's so fucking, because he sends you through all these different sections. It looks amazing. Like, I think that's what got it over. And I think it brought a lot more people into the semi-Souls like, because it looked so good and it had so much hype, and people just kind of like forced themselves to like it. I'm sorry, this is not as amazing as people said it is. I'm just kind of playing it just to kind of get through it. The bosses, you know, once you learn their patterns, you'll eventually beat them. There's this one level in chapter 3. There was this one level, I swear to God, this level was designed just to piss you off. You're in a prison and you're on like you're on this round platforms you got to get up to the top of, and the enemy composition is just there to just like make it incredibly difficult, just for the sake of just doing it. So that took me like 2 hours to get out of there. I don't know. I'd like other people that have played it to like explain to me why they think it was so amazing, because I don't get it.
Well, I have an announcement to make on this show. I regret to inform everybody that No Rest for the Wicked has awoken something inside of me, and I've decided that I'm probably going to become a Souls guy now, which is which is detrimental for everyone, especially myself.
Didn't you play Elden Ring?
I did, and I liked Elden Ring, and I kind of that made me like Souls curious. The problem with Elden Ring is that Elden Ring is actually like as far as those style of games go, is too forgiving because it's an open world game. You are allowed, so like if you're like running up against a boss that's giving you like some fucking trouble or whatever, you can be like, you know what, I don't feel like bashing my fucking head against the wall, let me go do something else, and I'll come back around to this guy later on. And that's great, but it doesn't force you to like learn. I mean, eventually you'll have to learn the fight, but it doesn't really force you in that moment in time to get good, as they say.
Always do that in Souls games.
You can farm
your character. You can farm.
Right. You can go farm XP and farm souls to level up to make your stats better. But at some point, like, you're gonna have to just fucking, dig down and be like, all right, I need to figure this shit out. And I don't know why it took like the No Rest for the Wicked and like especially some of the boss battles in that game to be to like I finally got to the point where I'm just like, all right, I can sit, like I'm having trouble with this, but the trouble is because I'm not paying attention to the patterns enough, or I'm getting too greedy when I'm going in for hits. Like I need to learn to hang back a little bit more, and kind of learning how to play and beat a lot of the bosses in that game was really fun and rewarding. And I'm just like, well, what if I go play Dark Souls now? like that's kind of like,
you might like Black Myth Wukong.
Yeah,
again,
maybe
you only have one fucking weapon, which
and not only that, but other influences are conspiring against me. So I follow a lot of Giant Bomb's content, and Mike Minotti was playing Sekiro on his stream, and he had never played it before.
I never finished that game. That game's really fucking hard.
Yeah, well, he had never played it, and he went through it, and he was like, "Holy shit! Like this might be like my favorite game ever, period." And like to the point where like he sees other people play, he's like, man, he's like, I might go back and play through Sekiro again. And so like Dan Reichert, who is not one of these types of gamers, like he does not play these games typically. He's like, when Mike Minotti talked about Sekiro, he's like, let me try it out. He's like, I remember I tried it out back in the day. He's like, but I bounced off of it because it's too hard. He's like, I can't promise that I'm going to finish it, because like I like at some point like I'm gonna get frustrated and bounce off. And for some reason he's like, holy shit, I can see through the Matrix now. Like I felt like I fucking understand, and it's really fun. And it's just one of those things where it's just like, man, like if it worked for Dan Reichert, because I know the type of how the type of gamer Dan Reichert is kind of similar to the type of person that I am, where if I get frustrated, I'll walk away. Like it's just like, man, like if it works for him, it could work for me. I was like, but I'm not going to go right to Sekiro. Like we're not going from zero to kick myself in the dick constantly. Like we're gonna warm up with the proper Souls games. And I've always wanted to play Bloodborne too, because I've heard that Bloodborne
is really good.
Yeah, it's actually the best of them.
Very good
by most people's accounts. So so yes, prepare to be really annoyed at me discovering this genre that's been around for 15 years now at this point. So
I went to the fucking E3 when Dark Demon Souls was first announced back in 2009. I played that game at E3 before it was released, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Well, and it's funny now because it's so funny because I
different.
remember the discourse around that game when it came out, because like we were working at GameStop at the time, and now like if you go back and play Demon Souls, like if you're versed in the Souls games, go back and play Demon Souls, like, wow, this is a baby game for babies. Like this game is so easy because like that was the first one, so like it didn't have a lot of the refinements that the series now has. So
yeah, Black Myth Wukong, I don't get it. I mean, it's fine, it's good. I think it's the production value that people really enjoy.
Yeah,
the gameplay itself is there are better games. There just are.
It is a character action game.
Yeah, it is.
That's how they define it. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. The Rollerdrome is another game I picked up. You said you didn't really like it that much, right?
I didn't. I got it. It was. I think it was probably part of a humble bundle or something. But I'd heard really
I
good
paid
things about it.
$4 for it.
Yeah, like
And I had
I had
a
heard
$3 fucking gift card that I bought, so I got it for $1.
this is one of those games that like the people when it came out, the people that talked about it really talked about it a lot. Like is one of their like favorite games of the year. I think the reason that I didn't like it is because I've never been like a Tony Hawk guy. There's a lot of people that fucking swear by Tony Hawk Pro Skater, right? And like I feel like the overlap of people who play THPS and people who like Rollerdrome is a very overlapping circle to some degree.
I still
I played the first 3 Tony Hawk games when they came out, so I enjoyed Rollerdrome. It's fun. They do a lot of like quality of life things where you don't have to hold up to move. It's just perpetually moving. So you can just focus on shooting and like your moves to get your bullets back and stuff like that. I'm terrible at the game. I'm fucking awful. Like, I'm really bad at it. I'm on stage 4 and I haven't been able to finish it yet because I just haven't gotten into the flow of things. But I do like it. It's fun. And again, I paid $1 for it, so I'm going to finish it. I do plan on finishing that game, but I enjoy it. Next up, Resident Evil 4 remake. Look, I've beaten Resident Evil 4 on multiple consoles. I've beaten it probably like 10 times to the point where I was able to do speed runs through the original. This one not so much because they remixed it. But much like riding a bike, once I started back up, it clicked for me. There's some quality of life things that they've made. It made the game easier to play. He has a knife that you can parry shit, which is cool, right? I'm on chapter 5 in that game. Again, I've memorized a lot of stuff, but it is very different. It's Resident Evil 4. If you like the first one, you'll love this remake. Then Outriders I picked up for like $5. I remember playing a demo years ago and enjoyed it. And I like this game. I've got about 8 hours in that. I don't know. I've got one character at level, I think it's at level 24, 25 now. I want to try out the other characters to see what their powers are, because I actually managed to find like 2 games. People are still playing this game.
Oh yeah, that doesn't surprise me that has a small community.
Yeah, it's got a small subset of people that still play it. I was surprised. I just jumped in and like, oh, cool. And I played about an hour with those people. It's fun. It's just a fun shoot 'em up game where you can like make yourself overpowered and blow shit up.
Like I said, Outriders was a really fun 5 hours. I remember when I got
like but it's supposed to be more than that.
It's supposed to be, but like when I got that game, I remember I started playing it. I was like, wow, this is actually really fun. Like the gunplay is fun, and I like the different powers and stuff like that. And like the narrative is whatever. And like and then I got to a certain point, and I was just like, okay, I've had my fill of Outriders. Like I don't need to sit here and play this game.
Like they really kind of worked on the narrative, because there's like deep lore in this game, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck about any of this shit.
Well, I think they were hoping that this was going to become like a Destiny adjacent type of game.
Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. Because they didn't add enough content. And I think like too many people just fell off of it. But it was. Well,
I think it just didn't sell well. I mean, I remember when it came out. Like it was one of those games that got. I think it was a PS Plus game. Either
it may have been. I think that's where I played it. Honestly.
Yeah, like either right away or very soon after it came out, because I don't think it did very good sales. So
I did play the demo, and I think it did come out on PS Plus, like not too long after the game was released. So yeah, it's fun. It's, again, you pay a lot of money. And the last game that I bought. Well, I bought 2 other games, but I don't feel like they're fine. The games that I bought were fine. And the other game that I want to talk about, Warhammer Boltgun, because I started playing Warhammer Space Marines 2 again. I had bought that months ago. That game is really good. I just kind of fell off. But Warhammer Boltgun is like Doom with Space Marine. Super fast action, just blowing shit up. If you like those types of games, I don't see why you wouldn't enjoy this game. It's a little tough. It's kind of tough playing on the controller, This is almost kind of designed for like a mouse and keyboard, because you have to have like a really, really fast twitch, action. And I'm not that good. So I get fucked up by a lot of things. But it's fun. Again, another game that I paid less than $10 for. It was on Xbox Game Pass before, but I missed it because it stopped. It ended a couple months ago. but it was cheap, so I picked that up.
Bolt Guns 1, I'm gonna get to at some point because I own it. I just haven't got a chance to sit down and play it. They also made and they released it for free, so I haven't played this either. They have a Bolt Gun typing game as well, where you have to like type commands into the game. It's a and they're all like Warhammer terms. So like it's kind of crazy bullshit, but it's apparently it's a fun little short little diversion. But yeah, Bolt Gun always has looked very fun, and I know there's a sequel coming out too.
Is there? All right.
There is, yeah. It did well enough that they're getting a second one. So,
and some games on Game Pass that came out over the last 2 weeks. There's a lot of shit that came out. Deliverance, Kingdom Come Deliverance came out. The original one came out with like the updated graphics, the current gen update which is basically the PC version, the ultra graphics PC version came out. That came out. I downloaded that, played it for 10 minutes. It was like, nope. Like, absolutely. I got to the point where I had to fight some dude, and I was like, what's up with this fucking combat system?
It's interesting. I haven't played those games myself. I have watched my boyfriend play some of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and it feels like you have to be a very specific kind of dork to appreciate what they're doing with those games.
You can't create a character, and I'm not walking around with some dirty white
you are playing a specific dude.
I liken the Kingdom Come games as like Skyrim for sickos, basically. Like that's kind of
it is.
Yo, he can't read.
No, he's illiterate.
Your character can't. He's illiterate when you first start the game, so you have to teach. You have to pay someone to teach you how to read. So when he opens a book, it's just like a bunch of gibberish. I'm like, God damn, you gotta wash. Which, I don't.
Here's the thing. I unfortunately know that I am exactly the kind of sicko who would really like playing that game for a long time, and that's exactly why I haven't touched it.
I was like, no, thank you. I'm fine. I'm good on this. Again, it was the combat that just. What am I even supposed to do?
It's intense.
In a fight with some dude that owes you money, and then I'm like throwing these slow
beat your ass
fucking punches. I'm like, I'm sure you can get better with the combat, but I was like, I don't even think I'm gonna go ahead and do. No, thank you. And apparently, this game is very long. It'd just be a waste of space on my system. Then BlazBlue Entropy Effect came out on console. I played the game already, but it came out on the consoles as a completely different version on the outside. Like all of the stuff you do outside of the combat, they completely revamped that to make it streamlined. Like it's totally different.
I was gonna say, is that a good or a bad thing though?
Yes. Right, because what in the original game you played this little robot and you had to like run around this facility to get to certain things, to do certain things. Now it's just you're talking to these 4 scientists. The thing about that is they talk too fucking much, right? So when you're outside of combat, like these conversations are like 5 minutes long. I'm like, first of all, it's a very Japanese plot. I don't know what the fuck these niggas are talking about. Like, I know you have to save the world by going into this data system. It's almost like Tron. It's very.
So you did play the original, like the BlazBlue fighting games.
It's a different. Yeah, they're fucking crazy.
They're absolutely like the plot is absolutely like I can't pretend to understand what's going on.
I don't pay attention to the plots in fighting games. What the fuck? Why would I do that? I'm here to play. I'm here to fight people. But yeah, it's nuts. But the game is the same. It's an awesome game. Like if you've never played BlazBlue Entropy Effect, it's awesome. It's just dope. Just look up some video game, some footage of it. It's cool as shit. And what else? High on Life 2 came out. I played a little bit of that. First person shooter. There's
a style of humor that I don't get down with. That whole
Diablo 2 came out.
Yes,
on the Game Pass.
Well, there's a reason for that.
We'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
We'll get to it.
Yeah, I did see.
So
weird. Yeah. So those are the games that came out. One of them I really liked. The other 2, one of them is like absolutely not, and the other one is just it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been playing a lot. On top of like more Rematch and all the other shit that I played. Oh, right. And Helldivers 2. I finally got back into that. I get it now. It clicked. It clicked for me. I put in like another 5 hours into that. Once I got some more stratagems, I got the backpack, so I didn't have to keep throwing down the fucking restocks. And I got this really cool like light machine gun that has a 1900 rounds per minute firing rate that just light shit up. It's pretty fun. I get it. I was playing early today actually. and I'm playing solo because I feel like everybody else is just like way higher than me.
Mhm.
But I was on a level that was, I'm doing a tournament right now, and I was on a level that I felt like I could use some help. So I threw down the SOS thinking, ain't nobody coming. Within like 30 seconds, 2 people jumped in. I'm like, holy shit, that's all.
Yeah, there are absolutely people that play that game just looking to jump in other people's games.
Yeah,
so.
and they were quite higher. This nigga brought down a tank. I'm like, well then. All right. And we just jumped in the tank and just ran shit over. I'm like, well, that's awesome. Cool. So yeah, I get it. I understand it now. So I'm gonna put some more time into that. It's a good game. I get it.
Yeah.
Finally. After 5 hours. Running through, just not knowing what the fuck was going on. The other thing about that game is like, if you reload before you empty the clip or the magazine,
yeah, you lose the rest.
You lose all those rounds. Like, I had to get used to that shit. I'm like, God damn it!
It does take some getting used to. 100%.
Yeah, it really does. I'm like, this is wild. But like, yeah, it's I'm getting my money's worth out of it now. So finally, after a month and a half of not touching it,
that's one of those games that I regret not being able to spend more time with.
I mean, you can.
Yes, I can, but I'm a Souls guy now, Terrence. I don't know if you heard.
Like, you can always go back. I did. What level? You know what level you got to? Because I'm on level 5 right now.
I want to say like 20 something.
God damn. Yeah. So one of the guys that jumped in my game was like level 22, and I'm like, well, I'll just let you do whatever the fuck.
Maybe it wasn't that high. I might have been around like 15 actually. I can't remember. It's been a while. Like I said, I really haven't played it since around the time it released. So
there's so much more shit.
I've heard. Yeah, there's like fucking vehicles now and like walkers that you can do and all sorts of crazy weapons and shit like that. Yeah, like I'm sure that I would go back to that game and be like, what the fuck is what the fuck is going on?
Fucking, what was that? Lord of the Rings meme? Like,
yeah.
What's going on? I don't know. Yeah, it's the same gameplay. It's just a whole lot of other shit happening apparently.
But that's cool. Like I said, I'm glad that game has gotten continued support. And a good.
They just released something last week.
Yeah,
like literally.
Well, they're continuing. Like I know they're continuing like the meta story throughout the game. Where like I know they've introduced like a new enemy faction to the game because when the game first started
from the first game.
Yeah, because when the game first started, it was just the bugs and the fucking Terminators, and then I know that they've added like aliens or a different type of alien that are in the game, and I know that they invaded Super Earth, and like you can now fight on Super Earth and things of that nature as well. So yeah, Helldivers is a fun game for sure. Believe it or not, we are just now getting to the news at 52 minutes into the show. It's one of those weeks, and hey, there's a reason. Yeah, there's a reason we didn't put out a call for the post office this week because we knew. So two stories that are kind of different, but ultimately kind of boil down to the same thing. Happened in the past couple weeks to a couple of very prominent games in the discourse, I guess you could say. So the first one, so Riot Games was working on developing a fighting game for the past 12 years called 2XKO. And 2XKO has been playable for quite some time. It was in early access for...
I played it on PC.
Yeah, for a good long time. By all accounts, pretty well received. Like I think that people enjoyed what was there for sure. Like as the game was going through development, finally comes out in 1.0 on January 21st, and just 2.5 weeks after that happens, basically they laid off a significant portion of the team working on the game, and Riot saying, quote, "The game has not reached the level needed to support a team of this size long term." So basically what's happening to the folks that did get laid off are they're either being reassigned to new teams within Riot Games, or they're getting 6 months of notice pay and severance, which all things considered pretty good. But still kind of shitty that just less than 3 weeks after this big game comes out, you're laying off like a significant portion of the team that made it just because it wasn't like a mega success. And this is a company in Riot who has the the resources to weather this. Like it's not
Mhm.
like Riot Games is out here singing for their supper. Like League of Legends is one. I don't know where it ranks, but like if you're looking at the 3 most profitable games that exist in the market right now, it's some configuration of Fortnite, Roblox, and League of Legends. Like Riot is a company that is printing money. So it seems odd that just because this game that they just released it to full 1.0 for the first time, after developing it for as long as they have, it didn't become a fighting game juggernaut, and
Yeah.
so therefore, immediately, so therefore we must pull the plug and basically put it into maintenance mode. Now they did say they're going to continue to improve the game, but we'll see what that looks like long term.
I have a couple acquaintances who were involved, I think more on a contract basis for
Mhm.
2XKO, especially for the music, and I have not heard especially good things about how they were treated by Riot. So this did not surprise me at all. I think it sucks that, again, a company that prints money in the way that Riot does wouldn't want to wait more than a couple of weeks.
Mhm.
Um,
That's bullshit.
it
Like,
is
I've played it.
bullshit. Yeah.
I mean, for fuck's sake, you didn't even make it to Evo.
Right.
I would think that you would continue promoting
Like-
and marketing the game till you get to the biggest fighting game
Hasn't-
event
Yo,
of the
it's
year.
February 16th.
Right.
It came out
Yeah.
on the 20th. It's not even been a month yet.
Yeah.
It's been in development forever.
Right.
Yeah. It's been in development since 2019 at least.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
In
So
full
Announced
development.
that shit in like
in full
2020.
development.
Yeah.
So
that was one thing that happened, right? And then
then
about
here
a week,
comes Highguard.
right? And then about a week later,
Well,
so
before you go to Highguard, I want to talk
Yeah.
about talk about Turks KO because I played it. I put a couple hours into it. It's a good game. It's actually a very good fighting game.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming they wanted people that played. What are these characters? I don't even know what the fuck.
they're the League of Legends.
League of Legends characters. They wanted to get the people that play like League of Legends to try like a fighting game. And this is like the systems were developed by like FTC people, so they know what they're doing.
I think Seth Killian had a hand in it at some
I'm not
point.
even sure.
Yeah.
But the thing about the console release, the biggest issue I had with the console release is that there's a lot of screen tearing. They didn't put VRR in it, or no, VSync is not in the game because they wanted to keep the input lag down to as low as possible. There's already 2 frames of input lag off the rip that they put in there, and they took the VSync out, but there's like severe screen tearing.
Sure.
Like it's really bad on consoles for some reason. And I thought they were going to give them a chance to fix that. And also, it's a free-to-play game. So the business practices of paying for like skins and shit like that, the shit's not cheap.
Right.
Like to get skins are like $20, much like Apex Legends. Like, why would I pay $20 for a skin?
I mean, we sit here and
That's
talk
insane.
about Capcom's pricing on skins.
Right, they're like
being
$6.
being insane, and it's a quarter of what Riot is.
Right, there's like $18 to $20 for skins and emotes and all this other shit. I'm like, you can't do that. Like, again, these guys print money. You don't need to charge that much money. I get it. It's free to play. Charge $5. You get 100 people to pay $5 instead of for like 4 people to pay 20, right? Or 5 people to pay $20. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. And also, fighting games is a niche it's still a niche. It just is. You're not going to sell 6 million units like a Street Fighter 6 because Street Fighter is Street Fighter. Street Fighter 5, I don't know how many that ended up selling when it all was said and done, but that was still a niche title. Street Fighter 6 has sold like 6.2 million in the last like 2 years. So the fact that they didn't give it enough time, they didn't give it a fucking month.
Yeah.
Is fucking ridiculous. It's silly. Again, it's a good game, and also it's a tag fighter, which is another niche.
a niche within a niche
within a niche.
Say,
Exactly.
right?
A lot of people don't like tag fighters because there's a lot going on. And this game, like, they have TOD combos, which is kind of fucked up. So But yeah, it's just this is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Again, not the biggest fan. I like it, but like you got to give the game a little bit of time. This is not a game that you were going to make millions and millions of dollars off of.
No, it's also you could argue a game that you have to spend money to make money in as well. Like if you're Riot, like you need to market it, you need to get it out there, you need to make sure it's at events, you need to make sure like you're getting it, like you need to spend some money on fighting game influencers or streamers, like to make sure that they're playing that game on their streams and showing their fans and hyping it up and stuff like that. Like that's and like I'm not in the FGC, but it's something that I observe on the periphery, and I like people were talking about it when the game came out and they were streaming it, but they weren't like talking about it. You know what I mean? Like I don't remember Max like doing a whole bunch of 2xKO streams.
Well, he played it on PC on the PC release, and he's like, it's fun, but there's some things that need to be straightened out with it. But he's like, I like the game, it's fun, but there's some things that I'm not too fond of. And I watched the I think it was Frosty Faustings like a week and a half ago. It's a FGC winter tournament. And it was the finals was hype. It was. Shout out to the 16-year-old black kid, Black Excellence, that won the tournament. 16. He might be another fucking what's his name? What's that kid's name?
Sonic Fox?
Sonic Fox, yeah. Because that kid, like, first tournament, bunch of people, first like live tournament he plays online. He killed it. But yeah, I don't know. Just it didn't these fucking companies, man. The other game you're about to talk about, like, I saw it coming.
Well, it's interesting that you did because to hear them tell it shouldn't have happened that way. So of course the story of Highguard, not a very long story, because we remember that like this game was the one more thing at the Game Awards.
I think Jeff Keighley fucked them over.
It kind of sort of did. So Jeff Keighley sees this game. So as the story goes, he went to the developers and he's like, hey, like, I think you guys really have something here. This is really exciting. Can I feature this at the Game Awards? And the developers like, yeah, like we're gonna take free publicity, absolutely. Even though we were planning on stealth dropping the game just like Apex Legends did. So trailer comes out, people react, very divisive trailer. Then the studio says nothing about the game until the game releases, basically, which I think was also a bad idea. Like if you're going to drop that trailer, I think you have to start talking about the game a little bit more and not allow the gaming public to fill in the blanks themselves as far as like the open questions that are out there for your game. But regardless, game comes out on January 26th, free to play. Terrence talked about it on the show here. You were underwhelmed, I think it's fair to say, by the game. The game gets great numbers on its first day and then doesn't retain anybody, which is a bit of a problem. However, the studio head, I think, or one of the upper folks in the studio, when asked about the long-term viability of the game, said, hey, like we're not Fortnite, we're not Apex Legends, like we're not PUBG, like we're a small studio, we don't need to have player counts in the tens of thousands every day, concurrently all the time to be successful with this game. So people are like, oh, okay, like, so they're looking at it long term. They talked about how like, oh, we have a year's worth of content already planned for the game that's coming out. Shortly after the game came out, they rolled out a temporary 5v5 mode, which was received pretty well, to the point that they just made it permanent in the game. So they're like, hey, people like this, we're going to keep it in the game. So a lot of people enjoyed that, because I remember one of the things that you criticized and a lot of other folks criticized.
3-on-3 was a bunch of
that's too big for 3-on-3. There's not enough interaction. And then kind of out of nowhere, this story comes out last week, where first from people at the studio, and then finally acknowledged by the studio themselves, that they have laid off a pretty significant portion of the team, but keeping a core group of developers to continue quote innovating and supporting the game.
That's fucked up, because I didn't know they added a 5-on-5. That was one of the biggest issues that I had with the game, like the player count. Like, just add 1 or 2 more people and it'd be fine.
Yeah.
And it's still, did they retain anybody after the 5v5? Did it kind of numbers?
I think it's just kind of, I think concurrently they were kind of floating around like between 5 and 10,000 at any given point in time, which is, I mean, it's not
respectable. Like,
yeah, and that's just
game.
that's just on Steam, right? So like they have they have console as well. One of the developers of the game, who was I think one of the folks that was laid off. It is one of the folks that were laid off. This fellow called Josh Sobel went on Twitter to kind of talk about how the studio was very high on the game until the Game Awards trailer came out, and then basically like blamed YouTube creators for posting like a shitload of rage bait about the game, kind of talking shit on the game essentially, and things of that nature, and basically the game and it turned the game into being DOA, and so that anytime they would put out a video on social media, the game would get downvoted like crazy. People calling it like Concord 2 and shit like that.
They did that before the game came out? Because I didn't.
Well, no, I mean, no, because their studio didn't put out anything on social media after the game came out, or before in the lead up.
I'm talking about the people on YouTube like putting out like rage bait videos.
Oh yeah, because again, like they extrapolated this very vague and ambiguous trailer that came out at the Game Awards, which was then filled in with no information from the studio, and so people were left to speculate as to like, what is this game exactly? Like, we know it's made by the same people that made Apex Legends, so is it just Apex Legends with fucking horses in it? Like, what's the what's the fucking deal? And so basically blaming a lot of the discourse for the failure of the game. And I don't really think that's fair. I think it's a little unfair to put all of the blame, and again, I'm not saying that people weren't out there like rooting for this game's demise just based on vibes alone. Like, certainly that happened, but I think it's fair to say that the gaming community at large is just kind of fatigued by live service games in general right now, especially live service games that look like we have Overwatch at home type of games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the thing that frustrates me about this, and this ties in the 2XKO example as well, is that you have these studios that are literally built to shoot at the moon, like that are literally like, hey, like we're gonna like the first thing we're gonna do is to hopefully hit a hole in one. A comparison that I made online was comparing it to like poker. Like what these studios try to do is like they push all their chips in to go all in, and then they try to draw to an inside straight. Like it's like you're leveraging a lot on something that statistically is very improbable to pay off in the way that you think that it's going to pay off, because again, as we've said, for every one Fortnite there are 10 to 15 other live service games that have tried and failed to make a mark on the community. And the part that's frustrating to me is that, so like the folks with Highguard are a bunch of like ex Respawn folks, right? So people that worked on Titanfall, people that worked on Apex Legends, and they were just like, well, what if we make a new game that is kind of that kind of takes some of the things we learned about Apex Legends, but we do something different? Well, guess what? The people that like hardcore play Apex Legends are not looking for the next Apex Legends because they have Apex Legends. Yeah. Right? The people that play Fortnite hardcore are not looking for the next Fortnite because they have Fortnite. Like they're enjoying Fortnite, and the same goes for the fighting game community. Like the 2XKO folks, and I don't knock them for this. We're like, hey, like we have some exciting ideas about a fighting game, but we're going to leverage our League of Legends characters to do that. Well, that's great, but like, unless your game is like exquisite and doing something so different that no other fighting game in the community that's out there currently is doing, you're not going to get people off of Street Fighter. You're not going to get people off of Tekken to come play this game just with putting League of Legends characters in it. The people that are playing, the people in the FGC, by and large, probably don't play League of Legends. So,
I was like, I don't know what the fuck those characters are.
Right. Like exactly. And so we see so many studios that rather than develop a solid game, even if you have live service aspects, develop a solid game that can be sustainable, that doesn't need to be like a mega success in order to keep your studio open, to pay your talent that's working at the studio. I don't understand why we keep taking these huge swings, and then when it doesn't fucking land immediately, you're just like, well, fuck it. Like what we tried, we failed. Let's close it down and let's fucking move on. It's completely unfair to the people who are counting on you to for living, as essentially. Like you guys are building this thing and you're just like, well, if it doesn't fucking work within a month, like, yeah, fuck it. We're gonna flush it down the toilet. Yeah.
3 weeks and it's a wrap. That's
right.
It's crazy. Or you could like create something like Helldivers and be a mega success.
Well, but
that's
again,
when
like,
you
the thing with
create
Helldivers
something
is
that like you like. Put something
right. Like
the game
the
that you
thing with
want to
Helldivers, Helldivers 1 was a game that was, and not that 2 is like 1. Like 1's a very different game than 2 because it's 1 is like top down and this whole thing. Helldivers 1 was a really small game, had a really small community, but
I played a little bit of Helldivers 1.
Yeah. And so when Helldivers 2 was announced, like Arrowhead was just like, hey, like we're gonna make a game that we want to see, that we think will be fun, and it doesn't have to sell, like I'm sure they were like, hey, if we sell 1 million companies or 1 million copies, and if we have 10,000 people playing this day, like that'll be a huge success and we can keep that going. And it turns out the game was successful like to like 5x that degree. But that's because they weren't trying to make like the next big live service hit.
That's what I was saying. Just make the game that you want to make. Just put it out there, and like if you got some different ideas, just throw it out there. Don't put the same idea into a game with a different fucking packaging, right? It's the same shit. Like Highguard, it's fucking boring. Like, it's just a boring game. It's boring. Like,
well, and
again,
it's,
5 people, it might be a little bit better, but like overall, that's just. And I know you've been in development for a while, and you also have to understand. I'm pretty sure these people that develop games, if there's a trend, and you decide to jump on that trend, like that game may come out for like 2-3 years, or 4 years, or 5 years. That trend may be gone by the time the game comes out. You know this, so why the fuck do y'all keep doing this shit? I don't get it.
Yeah,
it's stupid.
Well, and it's really it just kind of goes to underscore the point, right? And this might be a very unfair comparison, and I'm acknowledging that up front because of who the developer is. But right now, one of the biggest games in streaming, one of the biggest games that people are talking about right now is Deadlock, which is a game that's A, not even out yet. B,
that game has been in early access for like 2 years, right?
No, it's not even in early access. It's still an invite only. You have to know someone who's playing
I know
to get a code. Yeah. But yet somehow like this game is like the talk of the fucking town right now. Despite and again, Valve is developing it, so perhaps unfair to hold like a Highguard to the same standard as the next game from Valve. But also like this is it's a game that's getting a shitload of playtesting. Like I think Highguard could have done with like a public beta, perhaps to get some feedback.
Maybe the public would have been like 3v3. What are you doing?
Right before the game came out, and then people were wandering through a vast empty map, not seeing any players. Like that might have been to your detriment. And I understand what you were trying to do with kind of mimic the success of Apex Legends, but Apex Legends was also a new game from Respawn, the developers of Titanfall, and at the time Star Wars, Jedi, fuck whatever, like I can't remember which one it was at the time they came out. And holy shit, here's this new game. It just dropped out of nowhere, but it's from these people who make these shooters that we really like, and this is something that I want to check out. Being, hey, we used to work at Respawn doesn't quite have the same cachet as working at Respawn. I'm sorry, it just does not. You know what I mean? So like I appreciate what they're trying to do, and I'm very sorry that it did not work out for them. But at the same time, like I feel like if you are, and this goes for anyone that's making these type of games right now, if you're making these games, needing the game to be the next fucking thing that everybody gets obsessed with for a period of time, you are setting yourself up for failure, and you should stop doing that.
Why have they not learned this yet?
You know why?
Because
Because
it doesn't make any sense.
no, I'll tell you why.
It's been
Because
10
in order to secure funding to make these things, they have to reach out to investors, and the way that they get investor money is by saying, "Hey, this could be the next Apex Legends." That's why they continue to fucking fail, because in order to get the resources that they need, in order to even try, they have to make promises that they can't like they are writing checks that they cannot possibly hope to cash in most cases, unless they get very lucky. So, but it's frustrating.
If you're not doing anything different, and again, they had the horses and like the base building or the base protection thing, it wasn't enough.
Yeah,
it wasn't. It's just whatever. And 2XKO was just that's just a super just foul. Like it's a fighting game. You don't. It took Street Fighter V like 3 years. And that was Capcom to get its bearings.
Yes,
it's insane.
And by the way, Capcom took the lesson they learned from Street Fighter V and said, "We're not fucking doing that again. We're gonna come out with a full-fledged fucking game when Street Fighter 6 comes out," and they did, and it was successful right away because they realized, like, hey, we can't just release this shit fucking piecemeal and let it rock. It boggles the mind. It boggles the mind as to why we keep seeing these stories about this shit all the time, but. Hopefully they stop.
I don't get it.
Be good. You're good. Sony had a very well-received state of play. We're not going to go through comprehensively through this, but we'll touch on some of the bigger things, and some of the new things. I think is probably the most relevant stuff. Couple things featured God of War wise in this. They are doing a full remake of the original trilogy, including bringing back T.C. Carson to voice Kratos, who was the highlight of the presentation.
Yes,
he was very funny in his cardigan. I don't know that I need a remake of the original God of War trilogy. I got to be honest. Like those games definitely feel like they were of a time.
Yeah, that's for sure. Those games first started coming out when I was in high school, and I definitely like. Not to age you two so much, but
I was what 25 when the first one came
out. Yeah, first one came out 2005, right?
I was 20.
Yeah, I was 15. So
excellent.
It's interesting. You know, I never got super into the first games, but I feel like I appreciated them for what they were at the time. And I do feel like the influence that God of War had as far as that kind of particular third-person action game is certainly far-reaching. And I don't know, especially after how well like the reboot and then like Ragnarok both were, I think it's worth kind of revisiting the original games. Now, given that they are going to be fully remade and not simply up-res, you know,
you have to see what the remake looks like.
You have to assume that like you're going to get the more contemporary like quality of life updates and all that other good stuff. So here's hoping. Again, I wouldn't say I am a fan of God of War as a franchise, but I respect God of War as a franchise. So we'll see.
I played all 3 games and enjoyed them thoroughly when they came out. I was a fan of the series, I would say. But here's the thing. And the reason why I don't necessarily need these, the new God of War games, which I have not, like I played the first third of the first one, God of War, and I didn't play the second one at all. But one of the things that I appreciated that they did is they took Kratos and they made him an actual well-rounded character instead of just angry man yells and gets in his own way all the time.
Well, I'm gonna push back a little bit on that because I'm playing Resident Evil 4. Leon is just a badass character doing badass shit. His backstory was like, I survived Raccoon City. That's it. Right. And have you seen the trailer for Requiem?
Yes.
This nigga got an axe, man.
Yeah, well, but he's also like 50 in
And he looks
Requiem.
he looks like he's about to die in this game.
Yeah.
But he's just a 80s action character. That's what Kratos is. And look,
Yeah,
if they
I
want
would
to do
say
that,
I would say
it's
that.
fine. Like I just want to see what it looks like.
I want
I
to
don't
see
know
what
if
it
they're gonna
looks
do
like.
behind the back, or they're gonna make. Is it gonna be? I want to see what style they're gonna put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to hear TC Carson do the voiceover.
Yeah. I'm just I have a lot of curiosity about a true top-down remake rather than simply up-resing the older games.
Yeah.
So
also they stealth dropped a new 2D
I saw that.
God of War called Sons of Sparta, which details Kratos's trials and tribulations as a young teenager in Sparta, and it's made by the folks that made the not well received WrestleQuest game that came out a couple of years ago, and apparently it's not very good.
Oh, it's not.
That's the word on the street.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
That's the word on the street. Terrence, you mentioned Warhammer Space Marine 2. The same developers that Saber Interactive are apparently making a new John Wick game, which will star Keanu Reeves as the titular character.
Sons of Sparta is currently sitting at a 30% on OpenCritic. So
Ooh, painful.
Yike.
Painful.
Big
I want to see what the John Wick game looks. I don't like fucking CG trailers. It does nothing for me.
Well, I want to see what it plays like because a lot of people thought when they first started showing the trailer, they're like, oh, like are the Sifu people making a new John Wick game? Because that's kind of what it looked like, in some sense. So it'll be interesting to see with that. But you know what, Saber Interactive, a really good AA developer. They make a lot of pretty good games.
Yeah, they make very good. Like that Warhammer game that ain't no AA game. That's a AAA game. That fucking Warhammer 2, Space Marines 2. That's a game ass game.
Yeah.
Again, this is another like 80s. I feel like the Space Marines is where Halo came from.
Oh,
I can't imagine.
Oh yeah, it's certainly inspired. For sure, 100%. Yeah,
it's the same fucking characters. It's just giant fucking genetically engineered humans, giant humans doing crazy shit.
Yes.
I quickly want to draw attention before we move into what I know you two are, especially Brad, are very excited about from this presentation. Rayman got a 30th anniversary edition of the very first game.
Rayman was out then. I didn't know Rayman was 30 years old. I did not know it.
1996 was 30 years ago. So Rayman and Pokemon and many other big games are turning 30 this year. First of all, the fact that like Rayman is getting an iota of attention right now is lovely. So it comes out, it's already out actually, and it's like $20. It's developed by Digital Eclipse, who did the Mortal Kombat Legacy collection.
That part to me is notable because Digital Eclipse does great work.
Yeah. I think the most interesting part about this particular release is not just that Rayman is getting a re-release 30 years later, but that it contains 5 versions of the original game. So it contains the PlayStation version, which is the version that pretty much everybody played, as well as Atari Jaguar, MS-DOS PC, Game Boy Advance, and Game Boy Color versions. So I might check this out just because I really like Rayman. I have some
I never played the original Rayman games. Like Legends was the first one, or sorry, not Legends.
Origins and Legends are
Origins was the first one that I played.
Yeah. I played a good bit of the original Rayman when I was a kid, going over my friend's house who had it on PlayStation. So I kind of want to, like, the idea that you can play like a presumably up-resed version of the Atari Jaguar Rayman on contemporary consoles is very interesting. And it also has more than 50 minutes of new interviews with the original developers, concept art, design documents, all sorts of other archival work included in the extra features. So I think it's neat. I hope we get a brand new Rayman game along the lines of Legends or Origins, because those games fucking ruled.
They did. Unfortunately, I don't think they sold very well, so I wouldn't hold my breath for
no, I wouldn't say I'm necessarily holding my breath, but it would be nice.
Ghost of Yote is getting its multiplayer mode called Ghost of Yote Legends, which will be a free add-on if you already own the original game. I would also imagine that they will release this separately at some point, as they did with the Ghost of Tsushima Legends. So yeah, up to 4-player co-op. I enjoyed what little I played of the multiplayer in Ghost of Tsushima, so I would expect this to be just as good and give people an excuse to return to Ghost of Yote. And then the kind of the big thing with this presentation is this was like the Konami, like, hey, we back
We
for
make
real.
games again.
We are so back. We never were.
like, hey, y'all remember the globe that Capcom had about 10 years ago? Well, Konami's about to get on the fucking globe trade here.
Yeah.
So they showed the first gameplay trailer of Silent Hill Townfall, which is a new first-person game in the Silent Hill franchise. So again, they're really following the Capcom redemption
Right.
formula. Most notably to me is that they are releasing a new Castlevania game, Castlevania Belmont's Curse, which is a 2D action adventure game being developed by the team behind the DLC for Dead Cells and the Rogue Prince of Persia game as well, which again, two great tastes that I'm sure will taste great together. This game, the trailer they showed looks fucking sick, and I'm looking very forward.
I just love
This was
when
the
we're
highlight
right
for me.
about something on this podcast. I really love when we can go back, 6 weeks or something like that and be like, no, we called this.
I didn't expect it would happen this soon, to be honest with you. Like I'm not surprised
I
it's
don't
happening.
know that I was expecting it this soon, and I think half of my brain was still expecting like just a remaster or a remake of Symphony of the Night. But the idea that we're getting a totally brand new Castlevania, tight. Overdue. It's been like 15 years.
Konami said they have more to announce later this year about the Castlevania franchise, so we might not be done with Castlevania stuff. Again, just saying, Symphony of the Night's 30th anniversary is next year, so just if you're looking to get someone a good present, new remastered Symphony of the Night would not be a bad thing to give to us. Also exciting, for the first time ever this year, you will be able to play Metal Gear Solid 4 on something that is not a PlayStation 3 because the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2 is coming out, which will contain Metal Gear Solid 4, Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, and the Game Boy Advance one, which I don't, or Ghost Babel, I think it's called, or something like that.
Wasn't that a Game Boy Color one?
No, you're right. It is a Game Boy Color game. Correct.
I was gonna say I had at one point. I might still have it. That game's soundtrack on vinyl for whatever godforsaken reason. Yeah, Ghost Babel, which isn't it like a Game Boy Color version of the original Metal Gear Solid?
It is, and it's actually surprisingly good if people have never played it before.
Yeah.
Still getting no love, the Metal Gear Acid games, which disappoints me greatly. How dare you
the card game?
Metal Gear Acid. I've liked Metal Gear Acid.
I heard they're actually pretty fun, but like obviously they're so different.
Yeah. They're also fucking weird from a story standpoint. Like they are definitely non-canonical. So
yeah.
Also, they put out a patch for Metal Gear, the first Master Collection, to make it not look like butt on PC.
So they just took the original game and just threw it on the fucking.
They did without doing like a texture patch run through it all, and so now they're putting out the texture patch that should have. By the way, so I never bought the Master Collection. I'm considering it now. They put the patch out. I did read some notes on the patch. 70 gig download for the texture patch for these old ass. Like what the fuck are you doing? But okay, that's fine.
70 gigs.
I forgot Peace Walker was I guess it was included in the HD collection quite some time ago, but my brain was just like that only ever released on PSP. But
also I think this new Peace Walker will have like the full multiplayer suite and stuff like that, because that was a big part of those games as well, is that they had some multiplayer components. So that's pretty cool. Also kind of out of nowhere, we're getting Dead or Alive 6 Last Round, which is like an ultimate version of DOA 6. And
they were zooming in on the fat anime titties.
Well, and they did announce a new DOA is in development, which again, like literally the press screenshot that they put out for the game was just the close up on whatever character they were highlighting's boobs. So they knew who their audience is.
They
know who their audience is.
Yeah.
It's like, shout out to Itagaki. He's no longer with us, but
Yeah.
like, he was there in spirit.
He was.
Rest in peace.
What else? Death Stranding 2 is getting its PC release next month, so people were looking forward to that. Marathon is getting an open preview weekend about a week in advance. I gotta tell you,
good luck.
I gotta say,
did it pique your interest? Because I was like, I'm just
well, I've been getting interested because from what I understand is that people that have had hands on with it since that first like alpha preview that they rolled out has said actually they might be cooking here, and the fact that Arc Raiders has been so well received just in general in the broader community gives me hope, because as like I'm curious to try Arc Raiders, but you know what I like more than what Arc Raiders has is Bungie's gunplay in their game. So like if you can give me that experience, but like the Bungie shooter experience, like, and if people glom onto it, then that could potentially be something pretty cool. So
I don't like the art style.
I get it. I like the art style. I think it's neat. As far as that goes. What else we got here? I'm just trying to go through. Mina the Hollower is getting a demo, or has a demo. I think the demo came out, and that is coming out this year. They said it was supposed to come out late last year.
They've been saying it's coming out this year for I feel like a minute now. So it'll come out when it comes out.
We'll see. I played the demo a while back when it was on an X Fest. It looks really good, and there apparently is a shitload of content in that game.
Yeah, I'm interested in so much that like I'm a big fan of the Game Boy Color Legend of Zelda games.
Well, that was their
what they are trying.
That was their main inspiration. So you might like it a lot, essentially. Star Wars Galactic Racer looks like Burnout Star Wars, which I think is the best thing we could hope for.
I'm stoked on
for that game. Yeah, like it looks surprisingly good.
What I really want more than anything, and I know that there are vehicles that are not pod racers in this game, but I want an arcade version of this where you can sit in a big pod racer in the same way that you could do that with the old pod racing games. I miss that a lot. I miss sitting in a big pod racer with the twin sticks and doing that. I thought that was a lot of fun. However, I was also like 9. So
the target audience, one might say. So
well, also true.
Yeah. And then finally, Marvel Tokon is coming out August 6th.
I don't think early impressions of that have been particularly positive, right?
Not really, but I think they've gone back to the drawing board and changed some things up since the
initial. I mean, that's what you hope for
beta.
with like an early access or beta kind of situation of you get the feedback and you fix the things that people don't like, and hopefully you release a game that those people then like. So.
Right. So hopefully it got a little bit better. And Control May Cry is also coming out this year. It looks kind of cool.
It looks. I didn't really like Control
that much.
Good news. I don't think this,
several times.
I think outside of the story continuation that this has nothing like this will not play anything like the original Control. So
right. It's combat. It's like melee combat instead of just shooting shit. So I mean, this looks a little bit more compelling to me than
the trailers they have released for that game look interesting enough to me that I'm like, I wonder if I should go back and play Control. So,
I mean, you might like third-person shooters with like psychic powers, but like overall, I don't know. It's just I've tried multiple times. No, not for me.
So that was the state of play. A really well-received state of play by all accounts. So,
has anyone played the Kenna Bridge of Spirits game? Because they have a sequel coming out for that, and apparently that's a very good game.
I have not.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know. it looks like it's pretty good.
Yeah, I heard good things. Yeah, I heard good things when the game first came out. So, so bit of Blizzard news this week. They have been so it's Blizzard's 35th anniversary. They've celebrated that by putting some deep dives into all their franchises and releasing those every couple days here for the last couple weeks. Diablo 2's was very exciting for a lot of reasons. I should say the Diablo franchises one was very exciting for a number of different reasons. They did detail the changes that they're making to the game's systems and skill tree and end game in Diablo 4 when Lord of Hatred comes out in April. And I am very excited for the things they showed off. It looks like they're putting into the end game their version of like the Path of Exile Atlas system, where you can kind of design the end game content that you want. So instead of like the Atlas system in Path of Exile, where you literally like build the maps that you want to play on, essentially, in this one, it's like, hey, like you build the you make activity playlists, essentially, of the specific things that you want to do in game, and by doing that, you will buff the rewards that those activities will give you. So I'm really interested to learn more. Also, they are completely reworking the skill trees in Diablo 4, like completely throwing out the skill trees that currently exist and putting in new skill trees for all of the different classes. That apparently the aim is to be able to give you more customizability over how each skill that you pick behaves. So like one person's like fireball will be different than another player's version of fireball, which looks a lot like what they kind of did in another ARPG called Last Epoch, where Last Epoch's cool because each skill that you unlock has its own skill tree, and you can like customize how that skill works for your character in Last Epoch, and make it like you can take like fireball and turn it into like a freezing skill that casts weak on an enemy, or like you can really get into the nitty gritty with how the skill works, and it looks like they're trying to do the same thing for Diablo 4. So that's really cool. The other thing that they dropped is they have a new class coming to Diablo 4. We knew that it was coming because they said, hey, in addition to Paladin, Lord of Hatred will have another class. It's going to be the Warlock, but the Warlock is also coming to Diablo Immortal, and the Warlock is also in Diablo 2. They have put a new class into Diablo 2 for the first time in 25 years. Now, obviously, it's in Diablo 2 Resurrected specifically. Like, you can't play the original Diablo 2 and get the Warlock. But yeah, that the expansion released for that, it is a big expansion. It's $25, but they added a lot more besides the Warlock class. They added some new like end game systems to the game as well. Apparently, it's been very well received by the Diablo 2 community. Yes, there is still a hardcore Diablo 2 community.
What is left to do in a 30-year-old game?
The people that like D2R are just really love Diablo 2, because Diablo 2 is such a different game than Diablo 4. You know what I mean? Like it is very old school in how it plays compared to Diablo 4. And there are some people that, for them, they just look at D2 and they're like, this is the platonic ideal of an ARPG to me, and nothing will ever exceed this, and I just want to play this for the rest of my life, essentially. So, and they are super stoked to have a new class that they can play with in the game. So that was a bit of a shock that happened. And the game's on Steam now for the first time ever. Diablo 2 is, so you can buy the whole Megillah D2R plus the Warlock expansion for I think like $40 if you don't already own it. So that's pretty cool. And then the other big news came for Overwatch. Overwatch 2 is dead, guys. Long live Overwatch. So they have dropped the 2 from Overwatch 2, and it's now back to just being called Overwatch again. It's still free to play, so they have not changed that. However, they have added 5 new characters into the game with this one drop, and then they have 5 more coming across the rest of the year, which typically I think Overwatch gets a new character like every 3 months. So like getting 10 new characters in a year, kind of crazy.
In characters in this game now,
I think it's like around 50, give or take.
Okay,
yeah, it's a lot.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
All right, that's almost too much.
Well, and so not only that, But they are also kind of revamping how the class system works, so now, like, typically, like, Overwatch has always had, like, tank, healer, damage. Like, that's always been the three archetypes, and each of the characters had within those archetypes have their own special abilities. Now each character, or well, each class, I should say, will have sub roles that are added to them as well, which will not only give you like different visual customizations to the character, but it will also give different gameplay perks to each character. So, like, if you're going to be like a tank like Reinhardt, he will play differently within each of those three sub roles that are available for tanks now. So they're basically kind of aiming to sort of like soft expand the roster as well by making different characters play differently based on what sub role you want to go with. And they're putting like a overarching story into the game as well. Basically, they're going to have they have this thing called the Reign of Talon, which is going to be like a free annual expansion essentially that has like a narrative that kind of goes throughout. I don't think it's anything on the level of the previously planned like co-op stuff that they nixed at some point with Overwatch, but it's giving more of an overarching narrative. Again, judging by the amount of people playing Overwatch right now on Twitch, I would say that Overwatch
Successful
might be back.
because I played a ton of Overwatch when it came out 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That game's 10 years old.
Yeah.
Damn. Huh. I might try it. Give it a shot.
Like I said, it is free. So what have you got to lose but time? Yeah, a lot of people a lot of people are dusting off Overwatch and are pretty happy with what they're finding as the game comes back. It's pretty funny that like Overwatch kind of ebbed, and a lot of other people kind of rose to kind of fill that void. And I think like Blizzard sat back and kind of did like the Jordan, like, oh, and I took that personally. So it seems like they
looked at Marvel Rivals like,
yeah. Yeah, like Marvel Rivals, we're gonna take your market share just by using characters that people know and love and making them look sexy as shit. And people are at Overwatch like, oh, okay, all right, I see you, no problem. Like let's go back and cook a little bit. And so I think people are getting very stoked. So this week in RAMpocalypse, we don't have a This Week in Ubiquitous Software section for the first time in a while, which I think is welcome news. But we have to talk about the other thing that's going to be a persistent issue throughout this year. And that is the shortage of RAM in the marketplace, which is having a slow but inevitable effect across the industry. First of which is that Valve has announced that the 3 new pieces of hardware that they have coming, that they announced earlier or late last year, the Steam Machine, the Steam Frame, and the Steam Controller, are all going to be delayed past their initial target for those. They said still planning to release the first half of this year, but they did have to take a pause on it. And they still have not announced price on any of this stuff. And the reason given was because of the shortage of RAM in the marketplace. They have to go back to the drawing board to kind of refigure out what they should be charging for these, which almost certainly means that they are going to be charging more for them than they originally planned to do, thanks to no RAM in the marketplace. And also concerning, speaking of Valve, Steam Deck's out of stock in like US, Canada, and the UK right now.
All versions, even OLEDs.
Well, so a couple months ago, and we didn't talk about it on the show. A couple months ago, they dropped the LCD model from their offerings, and all they had was refurbished ones that you could buy, but they dropped the new LCDs. So even though like the Steam Deck never technically took a price hike, the fact that the OLED was the only model that was available was like a soft price increase of sorts.
Essentially was a price hike.
Right. Like, so and that people assumed that was due to RAM shortages. They said, well, we have to prioritize one of these SKUs. We're going to obviously do the higher priced one. So we're going to prioritize the OLED. And now the OLED's out of stock everywhere with no planned restock date that's been given right now.
So why is there a RAM shortage? What's going on? I'm not
Terrence. So
is it price?
No. Well, it's. Why do you think there's a RAM shortage, Terrence?
Probably tariffs, but like, you know,
No, it's not. It's not tariffs. What's the other one? What's the other one that's causing all of our problems in the world right now?
I don't know.
AI.
It's AI.
Really? So they're
Yeah.
buying up all the RAM for AI.
So what's happening is that video card makers are producing more GPUs than they ever have before, and GPUs need RAM as well. Like GPUs all have VRAM that come on them, and so RAM companies are facing increased demand that they cannot possibly supply. And so a lot of RAM companies are saying, well, do we make consumer grade RAM that's going to go out to the marketplace, or do we take guaranteed money from the GPU makers and focus all of our output towards that? Like, they're basically, and I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago, you might not have been on the episode. There are basically three major consumer RAM companies that exist out in the space, and one of them basically said, we're not making consumer RAM anymore because we're going to make all of the RAM and sell it just to these AI guys because it's guaranteed money that's coming in. So because everyone wants to fucking expand with AI, there's less RAM on the market for consumer products, and so the price of that RAM has literally quadrupled in the past 5-6 months. And so you're seeing the knock-on effect now in the game console space, because game consoles need RAM too, and if it's more expensive for them to get, then they have to raise the price of the consoles as well. Just like Nintendo is deciding if they want to do too, as they reportedly have told shareholders that they are weighing when to increase the price of the Switch 2 console. And again, it's due to the RAM availability crisis that's currently going on right now.
I'm looking at these prices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo,
you used to be able to buy like a 16. You really used to be able to buy like two, like as recently as 6 months ago, you could easily buy like two 16 gig DDR5 RAM sticks for under $100.
I did.
Yeah. and now if you have that, you can sell it
$57.
Yeah, you could now probably sell that for 4x what you paid for it if you wanted to.
I'm like, when I looked at the prices, I'm like, is this what I bought? I'm pretty sure I bought RAM for my little mini PC, but this doesn't look right. This is like $300 for the same shit I bought 7 months ago.
Yep.
$57 is what I paid for it.
Yeah.
Are you? This is real.
This is real.
This is how much of a hike it's. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
This is unacceptable.
Yeah, no shit.
What the fuck?
No shit.
I'm sitting here thinking, like, I know I bought 32 gigs of RAM
for the bubble that we're all waiting to burst. Yes. So in the meantime, we all had like it all trickles across all of the things that we love, because nothing is untouched by these fucking ghouls. Even if you don't choose to engage with AI yourself, Gen AI yourself, the knock-on effects of it will reach you, whether you realize it or not.
Bought the same exact $253 for shit I paid $57 for 7 months ago.
Yeah. So like, you know, just as a reminder,
20% off at $199. Yo, get the fuck out of here, dude.
As a reminder, dear listeners, if you have been enjoying the latest bullshit chat GPT trend of having an ugly little caricature as your social media profile picture, or like anytime you use chat GPT to give you a completely bullshit, likely incorrect answer for a question that you have or anything like that, this is the kind of shit that you're contributing to. In addition to you being a massive fucking loser idiot for using generative AI, this is like the ripple effect of the normalization of generative AI slop. I cannot wait for this bubble to burst. And it will, because they still haven't found a way to make it profitable. And I don't think they ever will.
I love how we just got out of an extended like GPU availability crisis where prices were overinflated, and they finally got to like a level that was acceptable, and people
Now
were like,
we're
okay, as
right
long as it
into an
stabilizes, we're
adjacent
fine.
crisis.
Yeah, and then PC makers like, hey, you know the part of your PC that was actually really cheap forever. Well, now it's going to be really expensive.
Way
Cannot
expensive.
believe like the shit that I literally paid $57 for.
Terrence, not only that,
$100 more.
not only that,
I,
because of so Nvidia a couple weeks ago
what the fuck
announced that like, hey, like, so what we're doing is all of the other, so like obviously like we're going to keep making the core 50 series cards, right? But all of like the other 50 series spin-offs, like the TI and all that, the RTX and all that other stuff that they would make, like, hey, we're not going to make those anymore because there's not enough RAM. However, get ready for the return of the fucking 3060. It's back. We are making more 3060s because they can make the 3060 and it has like a third of the RAM that the current cards have. So they're like, hey, like we can make 3 graphics cards RAM wise for the same price that we were making one. So let's roll it back 2 generations, baby. Woo! Like, this is exciting. Like, this is great. Like, we are back in fucking 3060 land. If you're building a PC,
because I was hearing about the RAM shortage, and I'm like,
yeah.
I mean, okay, it's a shortage, but I didn't pay that much for it. Like, it's a couple.
Yeah,
it's
because RAM. It's because RAM. There aren't a lot of companies out there that make RAM. Again, there's like 3 total, and they're just like, hey, we can only
32 gigs of Crucial DDR4, I believe.
Crucial is the company that's like, hey, we're not selling consumer RAM anymore. We're gonna just sell.
Yeah, I bought it. Yeah, that's what I bought.
Enterprise.
And
yeah.
Now these motherfuckers are charging almost $300 for the same shit that I paid $50. I cannot, like, I didn't realize it was that bad.
Oh yeah, it's been
God damn.
It's been fucking insane.
Holy shit.
And again, like there's space in the market for like someone for like an intrepid, RAM company to spin up, but apparently it's really hard to make RAM, and that's why there's only a handful of companies that do it and do it really well. So this is where we are, thanks to AI.
Good job. I didn't. That just shocked my system.
Oh yeah,
how fucking much this shit costs.
Let me fucking tell you something. I thank the lucky stars that I wandered into PC gaming when I did, right? because I found the valley in between the GPU insanity that died down, and then I got in, and then the fucking RAM crisis happened. I'm just like, woo. That could have been really, really expensive if I had timed that any worse, possibly. So, yeah. So hey, hope no one out there needs a RAM upgrade. I was thinking about upping my main rig from 32 to 64 gigs. And that can wait. I'll be okay with 32 gigs for a while. I'll be all right. I'll be okay. Finally, speaking of people fucking up for no reason, I will never understand why so many companies just seem so dead set on fumbling the bag. And look, I assumed this was going to start to happen at some point because Discord had announced their desire to look into an IPO, which automatically is going to be bad news for all of us that use and like Discord, because as soon as you put shareholders' concerns over the concerns of users, the product inevitably gets worse. And Discord is getting out. Yeah.
The enshittification of the internet continues. Basically.
and it starts again. So basically, Discord announced last week that they are going to be rolling out a mandatory age requirement system for all of its users to be able to access the full suite of Discord settings. So beginning in March, you would have to either submit to a facial age estimation or upload a picture of your driver's license to continue using all of the features that Discord currently enables, to ensure that those features are not being used by teens, as many countries and governments around the world are rolling out laws that require these sorts of restrictions on online social media platforms. People
No.
freak the fuck out.
I mean,
As you might expect. And by the way, this comes mere months after a third party leaked or got hacked and lost a bunch of
Yeah,
sensitive
like
ID information that Discord was storing
tens of
on
thousands
their
of users.
servers. Right.
So it's like there was immediately they were like, we only like it's not stored permanently, and we don't, blah blah blah. We're not going to keep it forever, and anything submitted for processing will be immediately deleted after age confirmation, which is a fucking lie because people immediately found out that they were working with a third party service called Persona, completely unrelated to the lovely JRPG franchise that I have put thousands of hours into. Persona's been around since
I was about to say
2018.
Palantir. I'm about to say, you know what? I'm just gonna throw my fucking system out the computer. Fuck that. Anyway.
And the biggest issue that people have with Persona is that it's backed by fucking Peter Thiel, who, of course,
right?
yeah, who co-founded Palantir, which has been supporting ICE raids and all this other bullshit. So, we live in hell, and this is the lot that we're being dealt with. Now, apparently, Discord is now distancing itself from
Of course.
Persona. Of course, after this news rolled out.
You know why? Because their cancellation operation for Nitro subscriptions fucking broke in the wake of this news because so many people were rushing to cancel Nitro. Yeah.
I canceled mine, and they were about to get another $100 for me last week because I was coming up on my renewal. So I canceled mine with the quickness.
Right.
And
so Discord was like, hey, don't worry, guys. Like, if you're an adult, like, we will continue using the background age verification features that we're already using of like monitoring your fucking like your posting habits and stuff like that. And if the system thinks that you're, an adult, you won't have to submit a photo ID or you won't have to submit like a facial verification to confirm these things.
If it
and
thinks
it's just
an adult.
well, basically, hey, like you will be allowed to get by with the services that are already there, which a lot of people were surprised to learn existed. Apparently, like in the background, there's an AI analyzing like how old it thinks you are based on the type of things that you post and all sorts of stuff like that. Here's the problem, Discord. You've broken the trust.
Yeah.
You've broken the trust. Like the fact that you tried, even though you're like taking steps to walk back, you broke the trust, and you only get to do that once. Because as soon as you break that trust, I guarantee you that a lot of the people who canceled their Nitro subscriptions will never renew them again. They might stay on the platform, they might not bail and jump ship off of Discord, but you're not getting $100 a year from them anymore, probably, in a lot of cases.
Yeah. No, I'm certainly not going to be re-upping my Nitro anytime soon, perhaps ever again, in spite of my longing for my emotes of choice across all my servers. Look, Peter Thiel sucks. Peter Thiel is the kind of guy for whom a lifetime spent in jail would not be enough in terms of the numerous crimes against humanity he has committed. This is the kind of guy who needs to be dumped in the hills of Appalachia and hunted for sport and entertainment.
Just need done like several
he's in the Epstein files of fuck
fucking, like the Antichrist.
He's
a weird individual.
He is someone who believes very firmly that his views and opinions are the correct ones, and he has the money and the influence to try to do whatever he can to ensure that the rest of us have to fucking deal with it. Like this is a guy who believes in his fucking bones that democracy is a failed experiment, and that we would all be much better off if people like Peter Thiel were the ones making
CEOs.
making decisions on how the world works and operates. Very Jeffrey Epstein-esque, based on what we're learning about Jeffrey Epstein and how and the different things that his tentacles were involved in as we learn more information with the release of the Epstein files, as to just how many things, how many industries, how many areas of influence in business, doesn't matter the field, like we saw with video games, that Jeffrey Epstein wanted to be in, because Jeffrey Epstein was another one of these assholes, besides the fact that he was also one of the most notorious fucking pedophiles to walk the face of the fucking earth, is also someone that felt the same way, that like, hey, I'm smarter than everybody else, I know how things should be done, I should be at the center of power and influence in this country and in the world, quite frankly, so let me find my way into as many industries and things like that as I possibly can. Peter Thiel is also that same guy in every sense of the word.
Thiel is in the Epstein files. There was frequent correspondence between those two. Yeah, I mean, look, just to give you a taste of how objectively fucking evil this dude and his company Palantir are.
Well, Peter Thiel's an investor in Palantir. He's not the head of Palantir.
Well, yeah.
The head of Palantir is a psycho.
Also, yeah, I mean, there's a reason why he gave Palantir fucking $1 billion. But it's like Palantir has been developing an instrument that they call Elite to monitor user information online for the purpose of conducting ICE raids. Fuck these people. Fuck ICE. If you support ICE, by the way, and you're listening to this podcast, fuck you too. Stop listening.
Also,
how? Why are you listening?
I don't want you here. I don't want whatever ad revenue you're generating for us. Shit. Like
I've said on numerous episodes of just various shows on this, like, we're better people than you are.
Yeah.
We're better human beings. You're terrible people.
You know what? If you are like a hardcore ICE supporter and you're at the fucking 2-hour mark of this episode of the Dense Pixels podcast, I'm almost kind of curious to hear as to why you listen to us or anyone else on this network. Quite
humiliation kink. What the
fuck? A lot of them do have that though.
Yeah. Look. I was talking to. I have a friend who, you know, they happen to do sex work and they also happen to be trans, and I've seen their text messages from these people, from these
oh yeah, that's a big reason why the super far right folks hate trans people, is because they hate themselves and they hate that they're attracted to them.
They don't hate trans people. They just have to fake. They have to act like they hate them because they actually really like trans women. So, but again, I've seen the text messages she sent me. They're very funny. First of all, they're hilarious. But yeah, these people are you're horrible people, and like, I hope you're not going to get your $50,000 signing bonus. Fucking pieces of shit.
That's been the really funny thing lately, right?
I love it. I love that for them. But
anyway, guess what? Those people are getting paid right now because DHS is
they're closed. They're shut down.
It's shut down. However, ICE is considered essential, so they still have to work even though they're not getting paid.
Work.
Good for you.
Stupid assholes.
Dickheads. So that's exciting. Anyway. Did not expect the Discord story to end up at why Peter Thiel is ruining the world. But look, it is all tied together. Carrie is not
like another South African billionaire.
Oh, he's German actually. He's from Germany.
I thought he was from South Africa. Who was the other guy?
David Sachs is the other guy from South Africa.
Oh yeah.
No, but he grew up in South Africa.
He might have grown up in South Africa, but he is in fact German. So David Sachs, Elon Musk's good buddy from South Africa, the loser of that particular trio of nerd, like they're all losers, but like David Sachs is like a loser even by their standards.
He was born in Germany. He moved to South Africa in 1971. And
what the fuck is going on in South Africa?
He was 4 when he moved to South Africa.
What the hell? What the hell?
I don't
know. I wasn't expecting Lethal Weapon 2 to be such a prophetic film in our times. However, it seems like that everyone from every white guy from South Africa is apparently just the villains of Lethal Weapon 2, essentially. Diplomatic immunity. Carrie, that's right. You guys still have not seen Lethal Weapon 2. Another reminder: we need to get the hey, Carrie, have you watched this show
Yeah.
off the ground?
We got to do something, man.
So we can watch one of the greatest action movies of the late 80s.
Hell yeah.
So, oh well, that was a super. We're not even gonna do the post office this week.
No, there's only two questions.
Yeah, that's right. We have 2 hours of show. We'll get
That's
to those
fair.
two
All
questions next episode because we had a mega episode this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, this was a very eventful week, with a lot of cool games to talk about and a lot of crazy news to talk about. So hopefully next week is a little bit more calm in the video game industry.
We'll fucking see, man. It's a wild time out here.
See. We will indeed see. But hey, if you're still here after 2 hours, we really appreciate you and thank you for watching, listening, and we'll see you all the next time.
See ya.
Take it easy.
You're watching the Dense Pixels YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button while you're here and make sure you check out our weekly podcast where we discuss the latest gaming news and our impressions on what games we've been playing.